Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Coleman. Today I'm coming to you to talk about writing modes. There are three types of writing modes that you will be asked to write about in 5th and 6th grade. Let's start with the first one. In 5th grade, you will learn about opinion writing, and in 6th grade, you will learn about argumentative writing. First and foremost, you must plan your ideas when starting to write. Whether you use a map or an organizer, an outline, however you see fit to plan your writing, you need to plan your writing. You develop your claim. Your claim is your opinion, what you believe, or you could be analyzing or interpreting the author's claim as well, and that would be a different scenario. Sometimes they will ask you to analyze and support the author's claim, which is not your claim, and then sometimes you will have to develop your own claim to write about. You must support that claim, whether it's the author's claim or your own claim, with reasons and evidence from the text. Also, you must link the reasons and opinions with transition words. You will find a list of transition words in your writing notebook. Also, at the end, you always want to provide a conclusion. In 6th grade, you will be required to introduce a counterclaim and a rebuttal, and you have notes about that in your journal as well. Point 2 writing standard is informative or explanatory writing. First, you want to introduce your topic clearly. What is the prompt asking you to do? Introduce whatever the topic may be with an introduction sentence. And remember, you can use the prompt to help you write your introduction. Use surface or text features in your informative writing, such as headings, captions, illustrations, bold print, definitions, multimedia, things that give extra information and extra facts in your writing. Use facts, details, and concrete examples. You want to use real examples in your writing. Number 4 says cite relevant evidence correctly. You want to make sure that your evidence is relevant to what the question is asking, and you want to make sure that you cite that correctly in your essay. At the end, you want to provide a conclusion for your reader to sum things up. The third writing mode, point 3 writing standard, is narrative writing. In narrative writing, you must establish the situation. You need to introduce your characters in your setting. You need to give an idea or hook your reader as to what is about to happen in your story. There must be some type of conflict and resolution in there. There needs to be a climax in your story. Think of that plot diagram that Miss Melissa did a video on. That needs to be included in your narrative essay. Also, use narrative techniques. Use dialogue, description, lots of vivid imagery and details, and also pacing. You want to make sure that your story is paced from beginning, middle, and end. It needs to be clear to your reader. Also, use transition words like first, next, then, last. You want to make sure that you transition and you link your paragraphs with transition words, link your words and phrases. And then at the end, provide a conclusion. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to read a text by Shel Silverstein, and it is called Where the Sidewalk Ends. This is a poem. So this is an RL text, reading literature. I'm going to show you that after we read this text, you can have a writing prompt on any of the modes with this text. Any text can have a prompt with any mode. So we're going to learn about that today and learn how to figure out which mode of writing it is that you're looking at. Let's read Shel Silverstein's poem, Where the Sidewalk Ends. This is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright. and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go. To the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children, they mark, and the children, they know, the place the sidewalk ends. Beautiful poem written by him, Mr. Silverstein there. Let's look at our task. So if I were to provide a task for this poem, I could provide either a narrative task, an informative task, or an argument task. And we're going to look at what these could look like and how to know which is which. Narrative task. You have read Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Write an original poem from the point of view of the sidewalk. Be sure to include narrative techniques. Your writing will be scored based on the development of ideas, writing organization, grammar, and mechanics. Notice that it's asking you to write from the point of view of someone else. That is always a narrative standard, okay? So you know if you see point of view, it's narrative writing, okay? Also, it's asking you for narrative techniques, so that should let you know that you are doing narrative writing as well. Next, we'll move on to the informative task on the same text, on the same poem. You have read Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. What kind of place is the author referencing? So it's asking you a question. What kind of place is this? And you have to infer that. What kind of place is the author referencing? Use facts and details from the text to support your explanation. So they're asking you to explain. This is informative explanatory. They want you to give facts and details, okay? Your writing will be scored based on the development of ideas, writing organization, grammar, and mechanics. If they're asking you to give an explanation, this is going to be explanatory writing. If they ask you to use facts and details, it will be explanatory writing. Let's look at the argument task. You have read Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Argue the point that Silverstein utilizes a positive connotation in his writing. Connotation is something that you will have learned in 6th grade. You will have learned positive and negative connotation. So what you are going to do is argue the fact that he uses positive connotations in his work. So you've got to develop that claim and support it with evidence from his work. The prompt says, be sure to use examples from the text. Your writing will be scored based on the development of ideas, writing organization, grammar, and mechanics. So as you can see, with any text you could ever read, whether it's a poem, whether it's a story, or a biography, autobiography, it doesn't matter what text you are reading, whether it's RL or RI, you can have any mode of writing with it. Your teacher can provide any prompt for you, whether it be narrative, informative, or argument, and you have to determine which mode of writing it is. I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. As always, remember, if you need me, my email is AColeman@pcsd.ms. I will be happy to answer any of your questions and get back with you. Thank you so much for joining me today.